Thank you so much for joining us for this LinkedIn Bootcamp recruiting series of recruiting in the digital age. I'm here with my counterpart, Stephanie Wilbrandt, who is going to be spending this time talking about the ecosystem of LinkedIn, about kind of the introduction to the series. If you saw the schedule, we'll also be doing deep dives into your personal profile and branding and how you're messaging and telling a story there for your candidates and clients, as well as the messaging strategy for in-mails and jobs, and lastly on basically your company presence, how to become a magnet and a thought leader, just really attracting and engaging a lot of people to your brand. So without further ado, I introduce you to Stephanie.
Hi everyone, good morning or good afternoon depending on where you're at. My name is Stephanie Wilbrandt and I'm a solutions consultant at LinkedIn. A little bit about my background, I'm actually an ex-agency recruiter. I worked for 6 years at a global job board. I work with companies on brand strategy, search marketing, email marketing, and just their overall presence on the internet today. Today I help companies that work with LinkedIn, staffing and recruiting specific, to get their most out of their network through storytelling and brand engagement. So I'm really excited to be speaking to you all today and being the one to kick off this webinar series of education and information. So we'll go ahead and get started. And today, in the next 15 or so minutes, we're keeping these into small little bites of information so that it doesn't take too much time out of your day, but that you walk away with a couple of key learns from your time with us here at LinkedIn. So today we'll be covering staffing and recruiting trends, and how we have to evolve with technology and people, and how we're able to engage, how people are engaging with your agency today. So recently we did a survey, actually it was the last one was in 2013. We surveyed staffing and recruiting companies, so recruiters, owners, things like that, across North America, and we asked them a few questions. And one of these questions was, the top 10 most important places to find quality hires. And you'll see right here, social professional networks at 37%. So this is a number that's going to continue to grow and grow over time. We looked at the top 10 long-lasting trends that staffing and recruiting firms were seeing. And again, it's about making sure that your brand is out there in front of the right people at the right time, and they're getting to know you as an agency and really seeing you as an agency of choice. And again, we want to pay attention to these trends because I don't know if we're really going to be calling them trends for too long, because we really feel as though these are here to stay, right? That the social aspect of how people are connecting with business partners or connecting with opportunity is here to stay. We also asked staffing and recruiting companies, where do you go to promote your brand? How are you getting the word out there? So right behind, hey, we have our company website that people go to learn. We also had a very big jump for online professional networks. So people are really starting to fish where the fish are and where the fish are interacting. So not only is it about being where your candidates and your potential clients are, but it's making sure that you're engaging with that very passive audience. People that are going online to interact with companies, that are going in to interact with other opportunity. So it's about being in front of the relevant talent and the relevant clients that you're looking to get in front of. So at LinkedIn, we have quite a large portion of our members that are a very passive audience, but they are open to opportunity. They are receiving job opportunities and learning about job opportunities on a day in and day out basis. So let's just take a review in a few of those trends, right? Social networks are one of the top places for staffing and recruiting firms to find quality talent. So fish where the fish are, where they're interacting, where they're learning and researching. not only is it about fishing, but it's fishing in the right pond and making sure that you stand out, that branding your company is important, that it's more than just having your recruiters on there connecting with people. We need people to get to know your agency. It's a competitive world out there, and we need to make sure that your agency is standing out as an agency of choice. And over half of the recruiters surveyed believe that social professional networks are the best places to promote their brand and get the word out there. So we're going to take a step back and talk a little bit about how we got to this point and why people are interacting with companies and opportunities the way that they are today. So this is one of my favorite quotes just on evolution and change. It's not the strongest species, not the most intelligent, but the ones that are most responsive to change, that end up on top and that are really standing out in today's world. So we can all relate to a couple of these brands, I'm sure, where whether it was taking film to get developed, to remember that vacation or wedding that you went to, or going to the bookstore and actually buying a paper book, or I know even going and renting the latest movie on a Friday night. And something that all of these companies have in common, number one, is that they're not around anymore. But more importantly, they're not around because they didn't change the way that they were doing things and change the way that they were servicing their customers. So, I mean, Kodak developed digital, and they really didn't do much about it, and they're not around today. Blockbuster, everyone wants something quick and easy. They want it on demand. They want it right there at their fingertips. So they didn't embrace technology and what their consumers wanted and how their consumers wanted to purchase or learn about them and engage with them. Then we take a look at a few brands that continue to thrive and continue to be on top. And they all have something in common. It didn't happen overnight. And you look at Amazon, and they actually didn't turn a profit for the first 8 years they were around. And today, they continue to evolve with technology and getting in front of their consumers and their clients being the companies that use Amazon to sell. In a different way today. I know, gosh, around the holidays, I remember seeing things where they had to deal with UPS to do next day and Sunday delivery. And I think we've all seen articles about how they're going to have these drones at some point delivering goods to you instantly. But these companies continue to innovate and deliver products and deliver services to consumers in a way that they want to be messaged and the way that they're used to. It's quick, it's easy, it's convenient. Netflix, a lot of us we could mail in the DVD, but they realized that their consumers, their target audience, wanted things quicker. They wanted to come in and see recommendations. And they're able to do that now at the tips of their fingertips, right? With the remote controls, you can stream video right away. And we all know the Apple story about how they just continually innovate the way that they do things and message to their customers as to how they get in front of them and the technology and how that works for them. So the so what, the who cares, okay, so these brands are gone and these brands are here to stay. I think we all remember what it was like to work with technology in a way that it was nice and it was a nice to have. And now today, being able to be connected to technology and to companies and to colleagues, it's so necessary. So I don't know how many of you remember the last time you used a phone book. I know for me, it usually is a great door stopper or something that I use when my niece and nephew come into town and they need a little boost at the dinner table. But I kind of had my aha moment a few years back when I realized how important technology was and how important it was to get information right away. And kind of a funny story leading into this and the phone book is that the light bulb went on for me, and I realized everything that we do is online and at our fingertips. my boyfriend, now my fiance actually, we just got engaged this past week, so very exciting, but we were going to go golfing, and I asked him what the number was for the golf course so that we could make a tee time, and he said, hold on, let me get the phone book. And I looked at him as if he had 3 or 4 eyes, because I just couldn't realize, I didn't realize, like, the phone book. When's the last time I've used a phone book? By the time he found the phone book, I actually had booked the tea time, was in the car with the air conditioning, looking up restaurants to go to. So just a bit of an example. I think we can all have that moment where we realize when we forget our phone or we need to look something up, when, you know, technology is right at our fingertips, and everything we want to research and all the answers we need are right there, and they're instant. And just to kind of take a look at how much mobile has changed and how people need to be able to stay connected and how quickly that has happened. So we look at 2005. This is actually a picture of when the Pope was ordained in 2005. I think you can see a few cell phones. I see an awesome flip phone there in the right-hand corner. And then, wow, what a difference 8 years makes. Fast forwarding to the bottom image, 2013, last year, same situation. A new pope is being ordained, and it is a sea of social media and tablets and cell phones that are there capturing that moment. It's just amazing how time flies and how technology and people have changed. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for companies today that are trying to connect with people, connect with customers, connect with clients? For the staffing and recruiting world, your customers are 2 types of people. They're your clients that are going to give you business, and they are job seekers and candidates that you're going to place and make money from. So we really have to think like a marketer. We have to, every time we're putting out information or we're interacting, we're leaving voicemails, we're sending in-mails, we're sending emails, we're putting information out there about our organizations, we really have to think like our customers, those candidates and those clients, and think about, would you do what you want your customers to do? Would you reply to that in-mail? Would you reply to that email? Would you want to continue researching your own company? Is what you're bringing to the table engaging? It's all about being in the right time, the right place, with the right message, and again, delivered in the right way so that people can easily consume information and make sure that you're working on something that's relevant to them, whether they're a client or a candidate. So not only has technology changed the way that consumers do things, it's changed the way that candidates do things and clients do things and the way that they're engaging with you and your opportunity. So I'm sure all of us can remember possibly looking in the newspaper for a job or posting ads in the newspaper to gain candidates, to gain business, advertising your company. And I know as a recruiter, I used to sit by that fax machine waiting for that great candidate to send me their resume or for a company to send me a rec or hopefully an exclusivity contract so that I could be their only staffing firm they're working with. And the amazing thing that we could now do all this online and everything is sent to us in resumes, and we can even do video interviews over the internet. And then the newspapers essentially went online, and now we can post jobs on a job board and get it out there in front of that very active audience. But today where we're at, it's all about fishing in the right ponds for the right talent and making sure that you're where the fish are and your clients and your candidates are engaging on social networks and they're engaging on LinkedIn. There's over 11,000 professional searches done on LinkedIn every single minute. So we want to make sure that we're part of that conversation. So just a quick review. Technology has changed the way that we do things. The way people get information about organizations has changed. The way they're interacting with jobs, the way they interact with potential business partnerships. It's about delivering the right message in front of the right person and delivered in the right way, right? So we need to be mobile friendly. We need to make sure that wherever people are at any point during their day, they're able to engage with you, and it's easy to read, it's easy to consume. Because everything we're doing today is online, whether it's booking a tea time, finding a restaurant, or even looking for your next job or a potential business partner. So we're going to take another step forward and talk a little bit more specifically about LinkedIn and the follower ecosystem and how to engage with these people. So we understand that everything we're doing on today for finding candidates, finding new clients, we need to be online. We need to have this presence because that's where the fish are. Let's talk a little bit about why followers and what you're going to be able to do with them on LinkedIn. So today, members on LinkedIn, so again, candidates and clients are engaging with your agency. Whether you like it or not, this is happening. And this is essentially the flow of the ecosystem. So today, if you're a recruiter, a salesperson, an owner of a firm, all this activity is going on, right? Salespeople, recruiter, they're emailing, they're smiling, they're dialing, they're sending emails, they're running meetings. And because of that, people are checking out your employees. They're checking your profile out. I like to say we creep because we care, right? We want to make sure that we have something in common with the people that are reaching out to us and that it's worth our time to answer that phone call or that email or that email or accept that meeting. We want to make sure it's not going to be a waste of our time. And because they're checking out your profile and your employee's profile, they're then going and they're validating your company. They're researching you. They're making sure that you have relevant jobs that you're working on or jobs that they'd be interested in. They want to get a feel of what it's like to work with your firm and your agency. What is it going to be like if I'm working with this recruiting firm and they're filling my company's positions? Or what if I'm a candidate and I've got recruiters calling me every single day? What's going to make you stand out in front of the crowd? And in that turn, we hope that they then start to follow you and keep in touch with you so that they continually learn about you, learn about the opportunities. I like to look at recruiting and business development a little bit like dating, right? I want to date you for a little while before we get into that long-term relationship. And I want you to educate me, and I'm going to keep you up to date on things that I have going on too, whether it's job changes or skills or things like that. So again, what is a follower? And what is a follower to a staffing company? They're a potential candidate, a potential client, or even a potential employee to your firm. And why we follow companies. So we surveyed members on LinkedIn, and because we wanted to get a better understanding of why are you following companies? What's important to you when you're following a company? So 71% of members are following new companies for jobs. They want to keep up to date on jobs you're working on, jobs that they may be interested in. But they're also following you for news and insight. They want information from you. They want to know why you're the industry thought leader or why they should work with your firm opposed to firm XYZ down the street. So this is really where you can differentiate yourself. So when people are following your company, you want to make sure you're putting relevant content out there in front of them. So there's a lot of great things that happen once someone's following your company. So if I'm following your company, I'm actually 78% more likely to accept an email from your recruiter, from your salesperson. I'm 3 times more likely to apply to jobs at your company that you're working on. And I think some of that, one of the biggest things in the staffing and recruiting industry, and I remember myself as a recruiter, if I was talking to a candidate that may not be interested, but they were just awesome, the first thing I would ask them was, can I keep you up to date next time I have an opportunity? But before I would let them get off the phone, I, of course, asked them, do you know anyone, right? Do you know anyone that might be interested in this? So if someone is following your company, they're actually 61% more willing to be a brand ambassador. So exciting things happen when people are connected and following and engaging with your organization. Again, 2.5 times more likely to recommend your business to their colleagues, or if you're their client, to perhaps other hiring managers. So that wraps up the first portion, the little education on presence and the follower ecosystem for staffing and recruiting companies. I'm going to go ahead and let Joe round it out and let you know what to stay tuned for in the coming weeks.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. Great turnout. I hope you found it just valuable to kind of understanding on the ecosystem. And we all know the internet's important. That's how we're sourcing and contacting candidates. But what we're going to be deep diving into in the next 3 sessions is really about rethinking, again, your personal profile. It's the #1 activity on LinkedIn is viewing each other's profiles, and we're the 6th most visited website in the U.S. Very important that we're leveraging your profile to share a very intentional and thoughtful message, that we're educating, and that the experience and your skill sets you have are displayed to show how you're actually going to be providing value back to your candidates and clients. It's about service. So I'm actually going to be leading next week's session. It'll be on Tuesday. And again, probably 15 minutes and be rethinking how you're leveraging your actual brand presence and yourself. And then the following week, we'll be talking about building out a company page, just the simplicity of how quickly you can get that up, thinking about the message and what you're really, the story you're trying to tell there, being thoughtful about your audience, and how are we going to be sharing great content that is going to make you stand out as a news feed here on LinkedIn. You get a follower. An average, member of LinkedIn only follows about 6 to 7 companies, and if they're choosing to follow you as a staffing recruitment firm, chances are they're not going to go hunt out many others if you're providing the value that they need. So they want to be educated, they want to learn from you, they want to be connected to opportunities. It's definitely important that they're going to look at your company page, if you have one, hopefully, and make sure that it's engaging after they meet you through an in-mail or looking at your profile. So important session there. And lastly, we'll be following up with, how do we write better in-mails? There's 1.2 million recruiters on LinkedIn, and 95% of them are all using the same messaging strategy. So want to highlight some best practices on developing relationships while also still pushing things forward and getting the placements done in a timely manner. But how can we be a little bit different? So again, the following sessions will be deep dives and kind of work throughs, best practices, a little more focused on actionable changes, but hopefully today was helpful and just better understanding the statistics today, just start getting in that mindset, thinking about, people are interacting with your messages via mobile. It's about shorter targeted messaging. Again, it's really start thinking about what message you really want to convey and the value you want to share when people look at you and your company. So just start, letting those things churn in your mind. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to post to the chat. Happy to stay on for a few more minutes here and answer any questions you guys have in general to the group. And, if you'd like to reach out, feel free to push us an email as well from the one you received it from. Can't any longer send any content. Yeah, let's just, if we can keep our group to their questions to the group type questions, that would be great. If you guys have personal questions on your own individual profiles, happy to help you individually as well. So feel free to email me or your account executive who should have invited you to the conference. But if there's any group questions in regard to this ecosystem and kind of updates on today, happy to provide any clarity there.
We had a question about the products and services page. We won't be replacing the products and services page. It was something that they took into consideration. It was not a very high traffic tab. And we're a members first organization, so we really want to make sure that our members get the best experience possible, and we eliminate any roadblocks that might be there. So reach out to your account executive, and they can talk to you a little bit more about other options to display those great recommendations and services for your company. Doesn't look like any other questions, but we're hoping to see everyone, hear everyone, and answer any questions at the next session on the 15th. Again, or on the 15th about your presence, led by Joe. Going to be kind of helping you all out to pimp your own profiles and make sure that it starts with you, and that you can champion that throughout your firms, so that everyone has great profiles, and as people are engaging with you, they have a great first impression.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see you next week.